Good morning everyone, thank you for joining me in this video. This is a follow-up installation video that will cover the installation of the Zibo mod from version 3.29 and onwards until the next big change. I've renamed my previous video on my channel, so you can always refer back to that and get some more insights from that, but this is a new one from version 3.29 and I hope you enjoy it and that it makes your life easier as well. The first important thing to note is that the download link has not changed, and I will as always put the download links in the description below, so just have a look at the bottom below this video when you need to download any of the pieces of software. So having said that, as you can see on the screen, we have the Zibo Mod official download page. I have seen quite a few funny instances on Facebook where people have hijacked the download and then redirected people to their YouTube channel, different Facebook pages, and it ended up creating a bit of a support nightmare for myself and a couple of the guys trying to do support, because most guys usually even don't tell you what version of the Zibo mod they have, and they just start complaining, and then you have to trace it back. And I would like to encourage you to just skip all the funny sites. There's no need to go to a Facebook page to download. There's no need to get it from your buddy. There's no need to go to a YouTube channel to download the Zibo mod. This is the official Zibo page. It gets updated. It is maintained by the Zibo crew if it's not Zibo himself, and obviously if you use the official download links, you are less prone to get into trouble with mods not working or some misunderstanding somewhere. So step one, once you've reached this page, is obviously to scroll down to the bottom and to have a look at the download links at the bottom over here. Everything that you are going to need to get going fast will be related to one of these links. The most important one is obviously the Zibo mod itself. This is where you're going to download the aircraft. Please note, from version 3.29 onwards, the F mod is already included in your download. The reason why we are not downloading 30 megabyte or 40 megabyte in an update anymore is because of the F mod and because of the major texture enhancements and everything that is now included in your Zibo download when you download the aircraft from the Google Drive. And please note, guys, this is very important: the days of touching your default 737-800 from Laminar Research is over. Please never ever touch that aircraft again. That folder is not to be touched. Please keep it. Those days are over. Once you download the Zibo mod, it includes the Laminar Research 737-800. It's already been set up and configured. There's no more merging and funny stuff. So please, guys, make pretty sure that you actually do it correctly now. Everything is given to you in one single download. You simply put it into a folder, as I will show you later, and it will work. Alright, a very important thing that I just want to bring under your attention while we are on this page is the actual change log, which starts about here. Let me just highlight that for you. This tells you what has been changed from the one version to the next. So many times, over and over again, I see this on Facebook. People want to know what changed, what changed. Guys, just come read here. This is also included in the README file that you get with the download. So also note, it has happened before and it will probably happen again, that there are instructions included in the changelog that tells you if you need to delete a specific Lua script or anything specific that might influence the installation. So always take note of what is written here, and that in itself will then also enhance the installation instructions that is given to you at the bottom here. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I do it. I don't mind if you do it differently. I don't know how you're going to do it differently. This is not cast in stone. There's no right or wrong, I suppose, if you get it going at least. If you can't get it going, retrace your step. Follow what I do. It's not difficult. It might be confusing, but not difficult at all. So just follow the steps one by one, and I guarantee you will be successful, and you can literally start flying within a minute or 5 or 10, depending on how fast you actually go through the process. Now, if step 1 in the installation process was to reach this page, I suppose step 2 would be to open your Google Drive link to the actual Zibo Mod download. I've already clicked on it, so I'm just going to skip over to the page, and this is the default view that you get. I just want to bring one interesting fact to your attention, and that is the little option that you have here that can change your view to a list view. I personally find, especially when I'm trying to explain to somebody what they need to download, it's easier to go into a list view, and then you can actually see the proper file names. As you can see, we still have the old original B737-800X folder, and then this is the zip file that I have now started using. This is where we had the updates previously anyway, and this zip file basically contains that file there anyway. Alright, so now there's 2 things that you need to note here. If you are early enough and the download quota on the Google Drive has not been exceeded, all you need to do is right click and then select download, and your download will go to your default download folder on your PC. But if you were unable to download within the download quota, there is a trick. If you have your own Google Drive, you can again right click on the file, and then you can select make a copy. The moment you select make a copy, Google will behind the scenes go take the Zibo file and simply make a copy into your own Google Drive, where you can then download that file from, bypassing the limit in the download limits. So that's very important, guys. Just make a copy, but obviously it will not work if you do not have your own Google Drive. If you are not signed into your Google Drive at this point, then it's not going to work anyway. This is just the way to bypass it, and it's quick and easy, and then you can just enjoy it with the rest of us that were lucky enough to grab it when it was published. So the next step in our process will obviously entail to actually install the zip file into our explain folder structure so that we can use this aircraft. As you can see, this is my explain folder, and I just want to mention a couple of things quickly. Whatever you see on my screen is never cast in stone. I mentioned it a minute or 2 ago as well, but just for clarity's sake, I'm a neat freak and I like order, and for that reason I don't necessarily install the Zibo into the recommended readme files location. And for my own sanity and my own purposes, I actually went into my aircraft folder and I created a Zibo folder. This folder now contains the actual Zibo mod that is in question, and it also contains the 737-900 Ultimate, which in any event is basically just a Zibo anyway. So that is how I sort my aircraft, just to make it easy for myself to remember. I don't keep multiple versions, I don't make a mess of my explain folder, and it's easy to troubleshoot that way, and it just works for me. So it's not cast in stone, like I said already once in this video. This is how I do it. I prefer doing it this way. If you want to do it differently, as long as it works, it's okay with me. It's not about right and wrong, but I just find to have it neat and in order just works better for me. So let me show you what that looks like. Alright, so I obviously have a 737-800X folder. this is according to the README what it should be called, and this is the naming convention that I stuck with. Alright, so this is going to be, in our instance, at the moment that I'm speaking with you, version 3.29a is what you see here. Now this morning we woke up and we found there is now a version 3.29b. And there's a couple of ways of now installing this or upgrading, so I'm going to just show you what I do. In my instance, this aircraft was and is fully functioning. There's no errors apart from bugs that could be in the system which I have no control over. I'm in exactly the same position as you would be if you had a functioning Zibo mod. So in my instance, all I do is I will open the zip file. I will simply mark everything that I see in the zip file, and I will drag and drop and extract everything into this folder, and then select the overwrite option when Windows gets to that point. So, as you can see, it obviously sees that the information is there already. We are simply going to replace everything. This will effectively overwrite the complete Zibo mod. I do have quite a few add-on liveries that I would obviously protect if needed to protect that. That's about the only thing that you really need to worry about is going to be the liveries. And one more thing that I've just realized is also, if you use X-Camera, make sure that you actually, in the event of having to delete this folder, which we can talk about just now as well, make sure you save your X-Camera views and your F-mod, I beg your pardon, not the F-mod, your liveries. So your liveries and your X-Camera, those are the two important things that you need to protect. Now, speaking of in the event that you need to protect those files, that will happen if you have a botched installation. If the installation is broken, not working, not happy, that is when you will obviously go and simply delete the whole B737-800X folder. There's no point in trying to troubleshoot it. It's so quick and easy to just replace it. All I do when I get into a situation where I can't see my cursor, it doesn't want to turn something, it doesn't want to switch on something, or there's a bug in my X-plane because of what I've just done, I just go to the Zibo folder, delete the whole thing without, with the exception of the liveries and the X-Camera. Once I have those two folders, there's nothing else to keep for me, because I've got all the other downloads of all the enhancements that I need. Some of them are not even in this folder. So for me, the easiest way to troubleshoot the Zibo is I simply delete this folder. Even if I have to re-download the main zip file, that's also fine. It takes 2-3 minutes, if even, for me on my internet speed, and then I just extract it again exactly as I've shown you. So don't fret, don't get into a panic state. If the Zibo mod that you have is not working, delete it, start again. It's easy. And that's how I fix my problems, and this is what I recommend to anybody that will experience any issue that they cannot resolve themselves. We are not the programmers, we don't know how it works, we cannot fix a typo, we cannot fix anything here. This is the way to fix it. In my life, I just delete it and move on. Alright, and that's it. At this point in time, I can literally start up X-plane and go fly. There's nothing to it. It is not rocket science. This is the basics. Whether you have an existing Zibo mod or you don't have one and you're starting from scratch, this is all you do. You get that zip file, you extract it, and you go fly. This is the bare minimum, guys. I have never found that this procedure does not work. I've seen other guys, like I've said earlier, do funny things. But for me, I don't see the point. And I'm not saying they're wrong, so don't get me wrong and don't get upset when I say that. I just don't see a point in it. If this works, why do you want to make it difficult for yourself? And just to prove the point, I simply started explain after the last step. This is the Zibo mod as I've just extracted it. I obviously made the selection in the flight setup to start up with engines running because I didn't want to go through the whole process of getting it going. But this is version 3.29b, and as you can see, we now have the beautiful little tablet that comes with it, and everything is working. Like I said, you can literally just get in and fly. If you would like to see the enhancements that I use with it, if you would like to see how to install them, stick around. I'll make that the second part of this video. But if you are satisfied and you don't want to go further, that is up to you. And that brings you to the end of the video. And I hope you enjoy flying this aircraft as much as I do. It really is a wonderful little plane to fly. So enjoy. The rest of you guys stick around and have a look, see what else I put into the aircraft and how I do that. So this is now the second part of the video, and this is going to be on the topic of the enhancements that I add to explain and the aircraft to enhance the Zibo mod a little bit more. The very first thing that I always add is the terrain radar. The terrain radar is also required for the enhanced depiction of the weather. I've seen it many times. People say, but I don't have weather, I can't see it. And my initial response was always, but it's built upon the default one. Any default aircraft should have it. And then we discovered somewhere along the line that if you do not have the updated terrain radar, the weather just doesn't display properly. So in order to get rid of that problem, you can just download the terrain radar mod. The initial download link is in fact on the page here. In the beginning you will see the terrain radar is mentioned on the initial download page on the Zibo mod, so you can pick it up there. I'll put the link in the description below as well, and that literally takes us to this page. It's not a very big download, it's just about 1 megabyte, so also not going to break the internet bank for us. Once you have downloaded this mod, all you need to do is you need to extract it into your explain resources plugins folder. You will see I've got the terrain radar already, so all that I'm going to do, as it is an upgrade, I'm simply going to delete the contents and make sure that I put the contents of the zip file in the appropriate place. So now I've got the latest version of the terrain radar working in the Zibo mod. As far as I am aware, it only works on the captain's display. It's not working on the first officer side, so just be careful and please note that. Our second enhancement is RAS. I think after all the years of using RAS in FSX and B3D, this is something that a lot of people will miss, and I mean it's also free, so why not just grab it. Also the same as with the terrain radar, it's just supposed to go into your resources plugin folder. So let's just see if we can pick it up. There we go. There's your XRAS2, and I'm going to do the same thing just for illustration purposes. I'll just delete the contents and then put the new contents in to the right place. And because it is in your resources plugin folder, it is the same as the terrain radar. It's going to work on most of your aircraft. In Explain, there is a weight limit. If your aircraft is like a one prop, a GA aircraft, it's not going to work for you, but the jets and all the rest will pick it up and use that. Alright, so that takes care of that one. Then a controversial plugin. I call it controversial because it's one of those things, if you don't know anything about it, people who don't know anything about it like to fight about it. Unfortunately, I've had a couple of people actually reprimand me for using it. I've had a couple of people laugh at me for using it. I've had various different reactions, but at the end of the day, I've had to learn to let the water roll off my back like the duck does, and I like this XBuy plugin. I really do. For me, this is a essential part of my Zibo experience. The difference with this and the other enhancements that I've showed you guys just now is this needs to go into the Zibo. So we go to aircraft, we go to Zibo. It also works on the 737-900, by the way, guys. It is completely compatible with that one as well. But for this video, sticking to the normal Zibo, we are going to go to the plugins folder. You see Zibo 737-800X plugins, and then we are going to extract the XBuy plugin into the plugins folder. Alright, what this plugin does is it allows you to add the packs and the fuel, and it automatically balances the aircraft for you. It also gives you your CG shift value. A lot of people fly the Zibo mod without realizing that they are supposed to check the CG shift value in the Explain weight and balance menu. This plugin actually gives it to you in the cockpit, and it's just a more realistic way of getting realistic values. I mean, anybody can fly this plane with weird and wonderful values to a point where it will at least take off and land, and I know a lot of you guys don't care that much about doing it properly. I, on the other hand, like to get the numbers as close to real as possible, and this is where this plugin really changes the way I use my Zibo quite a bit. In case you are not familiar with it, there is another video on my channel, but stick around. Let me quickly start up Explain and just show you what it looks like, and show you what the terrain radar looks like, and so on. I think that will just round the video off a little bit nicer. Welcome to the Zibo cockpit, guys, and this is just going to be a quick demonstration of some of the plugins that I've just shown you. The first thing, obviously, that you might or might not know to get the weather radar going is to simply press this button. You can see that it is given to you that it will show us the weather by the WXR depiction that you see on the screen there. We can switch that one off, and then we can go to the terrain radar itself. And there you have it. Perfect. You can actually go to your plugins, to the terrain radar, and then you can select quite a few different display options. You can change your speed, you can change the brightness, and under options you can actually decide to show water or not. Let me show you what it does if we remove that. You see, now we don't see the water, and we can just go and enable. Did I select the right one? I did it so fast I didn't actually pay attention. Yes, there we go. Okay, so show water is on. It just gives you just a little bit more fun and enjoyment in the game, I suppose. Alright, in terms of the weather, if there is no weather to depict, you're not going to see weather, but I guarantee if you are on the correct version of your terrain radar, you're going to actually start to see proper depiction of the weather in a way that the default doesn't give you. So take my word for it, it works that way. Alright, in terms of XBuy, let me just open the tablet for you, and also this is the refueling screen. Let's move that a little bit. Alright, okay, so this is just a brief overview, but basically what it will give you is it's going to allow you to set your passengers, it's going to allow you to set your fuel, and then you will also see the cargo. It's got quite a few settings, and I suggest you work through it, experiment with it, play with it, see which ones you like, which ones you do not like. It will give you your passenger list and your count if you click on the one button. On the screen you can see your CG shift that you're going to use if you want to really set the weight and balance up properly. It's also giving you a whole lot of enhanced information that you just don't get anywhere else unless you have this tablet. So this is obviously interfacing with the aircraft and reading proper values, and this is for me just enhancing my experience so much better. Alright, so what we can do is we can actually just quickly look at the settings. There's one in particular, the commercial payload we can set to full. I mean, that will give you a nice loaded cabin, you know, so you're not flying around like empty and light as a feather. Alright, the weights and hand luggage I leave at random. The layout, the Mango aircraft that we fly has got 186 seats, so this is close enough. Optimized balancing needs to be at auto, otherwise your CG is not going to be calculated properly and the balance of the plane is going to be way out, so just leave that at auto. The loading speed, I just put that fast so that I can actually see something happens when we do refueling, and then I'll leave it at manual, so I've also got something to do in the process. Alright, the METAR source I always put on NOAA. This has got a built-in facility if you do not use NOAA weather. Let's see if we can get that one up. This is the little widget that the NOAA weather gives us, so we can actually do a METAR request over here. As far as I know, I'm currently set to pull from NOAA, and then we also get the same functionality in this pad that the XBuy plugin gives us. Anyway, so the METAR source is NOAA for me. Then when we want to open and close the panels, you can leave it as the menu, or you can right click on it and then you have to come back here and open it again, or you can say menu only. That's all depending on your own preferences. I like to save the panels in place. If you look at my X camera shortcuts, when I work on the FMC and I see that it's actually changed now with the new version, fair enough, that's basically what it looks like. In the old days, if you guys can remember the previous versions, you had to do the loading and the balancing in the FMC. Currently that has now changed, so we actually have to do it over here. As you can see, it gives us the same screen as we had previously. So in any event, I like to save the XBuy panels and you know, keep it in the same spot. Alright, notification sounds. I don't want to be notified every time this plugin changes anything, so I just switch that off. Weights in kilograms, the status bar can be hidden. Time is local, that's just what the game is set up to display to you. And now we can actually go back and show you how this works. So in the salon, once we are there, we can then click on the random packs load button. It will give us a packs load according to its random values, or we can set it up in our settings. We can actually say, where was this manual? I think it was under manual. Yes, let's go try that quickly. So we go to beg your pardon, go back to the salon. There we go. You see now the icon has changed. We are now able to select individually the fuel. So let's make that 12 something, because we are currently carrying about 8.7 tons. What we are going to do is, let's make it a full load, and then we can select something. This is going to require a little bit more calculation. I'm just showing you an example now, but let's keep it fairly simple. If you leave it on automatic, the program will decide a load for you, and then you don't have to worry about the CG so much when it comes to the cargo loading. But let's keep it as that. When we now press the button again, it's going to unload the packs, and it is going to take a second or two. You can see the payload on the Zibo tablet has gone back to 0, and then we can click the loading. Hang on, did it actually delete it? Yes. It's just a bit, put the information back in, and now load it. You see, now we get full packs, and if we go to the cargo, you can actually see the cargo load as well. You can go to the fuel side. If you want to refuel with this app, you have to open the fuel valves, and all you do is hit your refuel button, and you will now see that it is actually loading appropriately to get to the corresponding values that we switched. And if you look at the Zibo tablet, you can actually see that it is interfacing directly with it. It's obviously not loading into the wing tanks, so we might as well just close those valves already, and then we just wait for the full load to complete. So I don't know about you guys, I like this added little bit of play in the game. It's something to keep me busy while I'm waiting for the VA time to elapse. The VAs that I fly for require us to sit on the ground and do proper preparation for at least 20 minutes, and I find if I work through the normal pre-flight workflow and everything, I run out of time, and then I sit here totally bored for a couple of minutes waiting for the 20 minutes to pass, and this obviously fills a little bit of that gap for me. Alright, so there we go. It is now completely filled up. We can actually now stow that screen, and we can actually go look at the fuel. We can see the fuel has been added. As far as I know, in the previous version, I haven't checked this one yet, you could actually see as the tanks were filling up, it would change the values here. Then, very importantly, what is important is obviously the CG shift. You see minus 6.7 centimeters, minus 6.7 centimeters. So we know that all our calculations are fine, and our zero fuel weight is on 22%, the takeoff CG is 20%. I found that this is reasonable, but not always exactly the same values. So in my humble opinion, this is close enough, and we shouldn't have any issues with CG and weight and balance problems. Alright, just to show you the METAR quickly, if we go and we request the Lonaka ICAO code there. This also then gives us a in-flight, on deck METAR request, which is helpful if you do not have other utilities that gives you the relevant information at the time in your cockpit. I've got 3 screens on my simulator, so I've quite a few different utilities running in the background. It also gives me the same value, so I don't necessarily use this one, and as you saw earlier, I just use the NOAA plugin shortcut anyway. So without getting too deep into this is about the functionality of XBuy. It completely integrates into the Zibo mod, so I don't see any reason for not using it. If you feel you don't want to use it, fine. If you want to use it, also fine, enjoy it. But that rounds the aircraft off for me, and I'm just going to taxi slightly forward and go towards the holding point. Then you will also hear the nice lady from RAS speaking to us.
Approaching 04. On runway 04, flaps.
Alright guys, so there you also have RAS working, and I like it, so I hope you like it. I hope you can use it, and I hope that the video was useful, and that you will come back again. Remember also to like and to subscribe and to share the videos, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk soon again.